Hello, good morning to everyone. So let's have our daily briefing for today. And just a quick market recap on yesterday's data. Okay, so first things we have the ECB or the European Central Bank interest rate decision. So the previous data was 0%. Same goes with the market forecast. And for the release time yesterday, it was 7:45 p.m. And for the actual data, the ECB interest rate decision still unchanged at 0%. So let's take a look on the euro dollar. Let's see what happened on this pair. So right here, this one is the initial reaction right after the interest rate decision was released. But however, the euro dollar's upside momentum was limited right after the ECB press conference. So the euro dollar was traded back and forth below the 1840 or above the 1840 and then below the 1805. And then the ECB conference, based on the Christine Lagarde's speech, he mentioned that, or she mentioned that the inflation for the eurozone was going to run higher, but it will be a transitory one. So the other term for transitory is not permanent. So that is why right after the ECB press conference, instead of going up for the euro dollar, so the price immediately reacted on the 1805, and due to the weak sentiment for the US dollar, the price of euro dollar goes up to 1840 right here. So this one overall is a bit surprising for all of the traders, since majority of the central banks around the world continue to be very loose or very tight on their policies, and also they're focusing more on the stimulus checks. So this is not the kind of speech people had been anticipated for the ECB press conference. And also we have the initial jobless claims for the US. So the previous is 345K and the market forecast at 343. And for the release time yesterday, 8:30 p.m. And for the actual data, it beats the market forecast at 310K. So the dollar index, same goes with the euro dollar. The upside potential is also limited due to the treasury yields are down and affected the value of the dollar. And then also we have the weekly crude oil inventories. So the previous data is negative 7.16 M and market forecast at negative 4.612. And for the actual data, it was a negative 1.52 million. So obviously, for the past couple of sessions, the price of crude oil is still under pressure from the downside. But overall, the traders, especially those who are focusing more on the crude oil, they need to be cautious once the demand comes back, and the idea of reopening for some countries, which could lift the oil stronger than anticipated. So currently, the price of oil is around the 68 range level, but based on the majority of the analysts, once the demand of oil goes back on its original form, then we can see the oil to rebound higher than 70, or the psychological levels. If the price of oil or the demand of oil comes back, it may go to 74 or probably 75 territory. Okay. That is why, especially those traders, they need to be cautious when trading oils of this moment. And for today's economic data, during the European session, we have gross domestic product for UK, monthly basis for the month of July. And we also have inflation rate for Germany, monthly basis and yearly basis for the month of August. Followed by the US session, we have employment change and unemployment rate for Canada, followed by the producer's price index for US, monthly basis for the month of August. And for our key products for today, we have the USD against the CAD. So this one, the price of the USD CAD as of this moment is around the 1.2644. But if we are going to base on the calendar for today, the Canada will be releasing their employment data, which is the employment change is expected to be much lower compared to the previous one. But for the unemployment rate, same goes with the employment data. So the employment rate is expected to be 7.3% comparing to the 7.5. But however, the PPI data is also expected to be much lower comparing on the previous one as well. So let's see what will happen on the USD CAD later. But for the daily range, we can look for 1.2630 and 1.2605. And for the resistance, 1.2710 and 1.2735. And last thing is we have the British pound against the US dollar. So for the British pound against the US dollar, I've also been monitoring this one for a couple of weeks now. And based on the structure of this market, the euro dollar or the pound dollar, it's been testing the 1.3850 for a couple of sessions. So it's been retesting this one. So this one is a critical resistance right now for the GBP against the dollar. But personal opinion, I cannot see clearly what will happen on the British pound against the dollar. But if the price of the British pound against the USD breaks above the 1.39 territory, then we can clearly see that the overall trend of the market is on the upside. But as long as the price did not break above the 1.39, then overall I will not really look on the economy of the UK, but rather for the dollar, since this one is paired by the USD. So I will closely monitoring the event that is happening right now for the US comparing on the UK. But as I've said, overall, if the price of the pound dollar breaks above the 1.39, then we can see a clear rally on the upside from this price. So for a daily range, we can look for 1.3775 and 1.3750 and 1.3860 and 1.3885. So again, for the European session, 2 p.m. we have gross domestic product for UK, monthly basis for the month of July. And also we have inflation rate for Germany, monthly basis and yearly basis for the month of August. And for the US session, we have employment change, unemployment rate, and also PPI data for the US. So monthly basis for the month of August. All right, so thank you everyone for joining our daily briefing today. Please stay safe and have a great day.